Good afternoon. My name is Terrell Henry, and this will be oral template number 15, chapter 15, section future climates. And to start off, I'm going to start with talking about section climate projections. And for this main point of climate projections, I have that climate projections can be affected by natural disasters or through human activity. And what I mean by that is that let's start off with natural disasters. So you would just take, for example, a volcano erupting. That's going to affect the predictions of climate over the next year or so. And the reason why they do let me make sure that why they do projections over predictions is because the projections are constantly going to change because of these natural causes like volcanoes erupting, tsunamis, just earthquakes, different things like that. So it's not fair to call it a prediction. It's more of a projection of what they think is going to happen because we know that it's going to change. And then, like I said, there's also human activities. So us driving our cars around, that is going to be us, burning gas, smoke into the atmosphere, which is carbon dioxide, which is obviously going to have a very negative impact on our climate. So those two things just in general are going to have a effect on whatever the climate prediction was, and it's either through natural causes or even human causes, and both of them do have an effect on what climate projections would be. And for the next sections, I'm going to go to section consequences of global climate change, extreme temperature events, the hydrological cycle, and whether sea level rises. And for that main point, I have global warming brings more problems than just heating Earth's temperature. So everyone knows that the world is getting hotter from global warming, and that is one of the main problems. But there are more problems that also come with global warming. And one of the main problems that come with global warming is simply sea level rising. So sea levels are going to rise because where the Earth is actually getting hotter, we're going to lose more ice glaciers. You're going to see more, take Antarctica, for example. We're going to see where it's mostly ice, and just think of places like that. So the Earth is getting hotter and the sun is giving more output, I'll say, is the sun's giving more output, then we're going to start to lose that ice. And whenever you're losing that ice, the ice is going to turn into water. And a place like Antarctica, like I mentioned, where it is mostly ice, that is going to have an extreme effect on sea levels. And the sea is very important to maybe the sea is not as important to the United States, but to other countries and other places across the world, this could be very devastating to them, as they may rely on the ocean for food, for just overall different things. And global warming is going to have an effect on that. For my next section, I'm going to go to climate change in society. And for that main point, I have climate change has an effect on human society. And then it goes into a little bit, like I was talking about, how the sea level rises. And what I put for one of the examples was the coastal regions. Yes, so coastal regions, like I was just talking about the sea levels, those are places where they heavily rely on the sea. And with the sea level being messed up, with it constantly rising, you know, it can affect the fishing there. It can affect you know, the traveling, maybe increase in waves, as we've seen that climate change also has an impact on the weather, and we're getting more severe storms than we ever have before. So the coastal regions, their society is very affected by by climate change and global warming overall. As like I said, they rely on the sea for pretty much everything, and it's how the coastal regions are able to survive. And for the next section, I'm going to go to I'm gonna go to consequences of global climate change, species ranges, wildfires, ocean circulation, and for that main point, I have kind of like I just said before in the last chapter, the ocean plays a big part in the region's climates, and the Gulf Stream is a great example of that. And also, it has been shown that half of the carbon that is emitted into the air is absorbed by the sea and the land. So two of the most things that are completely affected by carbon are the sea and the land, and the Gulf Stream being affected by the by the carbon emission into the atmosphere is just one of many examples of proving that the sea and the land absorb most of the carbon. And start off with some pictures here. And I'm gonna start off with this picture right here down at the bottom. So this picture here is showing the global air surface temperature starting from the year 2020, and then what they predict is going to be in the year 2100 or 2100. So starting from three different predictions here, and with 3 different predictions, you can see all of them kind of start at the temperature increasing. It's going to start at about 1.2-ish, and only one of them kind of slightly only changes just a little bit, but you can see the red one, the temperature is going to increase by over 4 from 100 years now, which some do not believe will be survivable, that Earth's atmosphere will be uninhabitable by that time. And then for my next section here, I'm gonna start off with this one right here. So the reason I chose this picture is because just to go into climate change just a little bit more. So this is a picture of Florida right here, and you know, all the surrounding places, Orlando, and just all the other places. So this is very interesting that with climate change and global warming, all this, how scientists predict that all of this entire state right here will just be completely underwater with the way that the sea levels are rising. And I mean, it's not like Florida is a small state. Florida is a great destination for everyone who loves to go on vacation, spend time in the sun. However, we're going to see, I believe in a video before we watched that, I believe it was the year 2030, which is definitely in our lifetime, is whenever scientists have predicted that the entire state of Florida will just be underwater. And then for my right picture goes into with this Florida picture here, is with it's going to start from the year 1960 and go to the year 2100 again. So this has to do with the sea level rise. So from 1960 to about 2000, everything was pretty steady, not really no big increases. But from the year 2000 to 2020, I'm sorry, from the year 2020 to about 2060, the extreme increase in the sea level is really what scientists are expecting to already occur. As you can see in the year 2020, they're already seeing it increase and just continue to increase. And by the year 2030, like I said, they predict the entire state of Florida to be underwater. And then what is the main idea of this chapter as a whole? And what I put for the main idea of the chapter of the whole is that Earth's climate is always going to be a projection and not a prediction. And like I've said in some of the points I've made, that Earth is constantly changing, and some of it is naturally and some of it is human caused. So it's never going to be really clear for us to make a true prediction on Earth that's not going to change within possibly a day. As you know, like I said, a volcano could erupt the next day that somebody made a prediction and then it would be changed. So it's always going to be a projection, and I think that was the main point of this entire chapter.